Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be doing a radial action stretch project using Photoshop. First thing you need to do, File, New. You're going to create a new document and you want to make it 8 inches by 10 inches with a resolution of 300. And then if you want to change the background to black or white or whatever color you want, really, because it doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep mine black though. And then hit create, and you should have a document that looks like this in Photoshop. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look up maybe a celebrity, or it can even be you, a person doing something active. So they got to be jumping or something to that effect, running maybe. So I went on Google and I'm looking up Michael Jordan dunking. Sports figures are always good for this. Now, if you choose a photo, you will have to cut out the background if it has, a bunch of, background stuff, because you just want to isolate the person that's doing the jumping or being active. Now, to help that, you could look up Michael Jordan dunking PNG and get a PNG file. Now, when you click on it, make sure it has the gray and white checkerboard background, and then you want to save that image. You want to save it, not copy it. And then if it's a PNG, you want to save it. So you get a file, open if it's a PNG, and then you open it, and then you're just going to hopefully just drag it in. Now I'm going to pull that down, use the move tool, and move it in. Now, to make your life a lot easier, I would look up a PNG, but if you do get a JPEG, you will have to erase the background. Now, I'm going to edit free transform this. PNG files are the best because they have, no background. Edit free transform. Now I'm going to go up. I'm going to turn off my background layer, and I'm going to go up to where the rectangular marquee is, and I'm going to select the single column marquee tool, and I'm just going to click once, and you can see it just does a selection, one little piece like that. Now if I zoom in on this, what you want it to do is you want it to run through his entire body, or at least try to. And also, try not to get any clear on it. So I'm going to go to View Fit on Screen and then Edit, Copy. I want to copy that tiny selection right there. And now I'm going to make, select, deselect. Now I'm going to make a new layer, new layer. Click OK. And then I'm going to pull that underneath layer 1, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to convert this to a smart object. Alright, what that does is, I couldn't tell you what it does, but it does something cool. I don't know the whole algorithm, but you're going to double click on the smart object right where I did, right on the box, not on the gray, but right in that, that little small part right there. And when you double click on that, it's going to bring up a new document. Now don't worry, your other document's still there, but you're going to go to Edit, Paste, and then use the Move tool. Make sure the Move tool's on, and make sure that is check marked right there where it says Show Transform Controls. And then holding down Shift and Alt, you want to stretch that and move it to the top like that. And then make sure it takes up about that much of your composition. Then go to File, Save. That's going to save it onto your other document. You can see it up there. There's 2 of them. You're going to click on that and you'll see it pop up right there. It's a smart object. I guess that's why it's smart. Then you're going to go to Filter, Distort, Polar Coordinates, and make sure when you click on it that top function is selected. It's going to turn it into a cool little circle like that. And if you have a sliver like that that's not showing, don't worry, we'll fix that later. So what you want to do is right click on that layer and go to rasterize layer, then go to Edit, Free Transform, and then this is where you want to make it stretch to like the top of the figure and then to the bottom of the figure right there. You kind of want to make it sure it has the whole person within the circle. Now to get rid of that little sliver, I'm going to rotate it me see. Yeah, see how it's right at the top of that basketball, and then it's right at the bottom of the shoes. And then to get rid of that sliver, go to Edit, Free Transform, and then you're going to rotate it to the front or somewhere where you want to erase, because you're going to erase some of this. Now, when you get it where you like it, hit Enter to get rid of the Free Transform, and then you will go to the bottom of your layer box, and you're gonna click on a layer mask. It looks like a white square with a gray circle on it right there. You're gonna click on that, and that's gonna pop open that little white box on that layer. That's a layer mask. That's a pretty cool thing you can use to non-destructively edit layers. So I'm going to get my brush tool, and I'm going to make sure it's black, and you make sure you're on this white box. You can click back and forth between them. You want to make sure you're on that white box. Now get a black brush, and you probably want it to be a hard brush, and make sure it's black. It's got to be black. Black takes away, white adds. Just remember that I said that. So I'm going to click OK, make sure it's black. And what this does is basically it removes part of the circle. So, and if you mess up, say like, I don't know, you sneeze or something, oops, don't worry, switch to white. The white brush adds. The black brush takes away, the white brush adds. So I'm going to switch back to black, and I'm going to erase some of this circle because I don't want all of it to show up. I just want, you know, the part where he's moving behind him. And I'm just going to very carefully take all that out, and you'll see on that white box over there, your layer mask, you'll see the black starting to show up on the square. So that's what that means. If it's all white, that means it's all there. So after you erase all that, you want to you can turn on your background layer, see what it looks like. You're almost done with the project. It's a really fast project. Now you want to click on not the layer mask, but that one. Not the layer mask, but you want to click on that one right there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get your eraser, and you're going to make it very, very large and very, very soft. So 0%, and I'm making my brush really, really big. Now up here in the opacity, I'm going to turn that down severely. I'm like at 17% or something like that. Now I'm going to erase just a little bit right after his body. And I'm going to keep on doing that till I get it to kind of where I like it. I kind of don't want it to be as strong around his body. So I'm going to do some, slight erasing using the eraser tool, but it's at an opacity. So you can change the brush size to, to get it to where you like it. Experiment with it a little bit. I'm just trying to erase just a little bit so it's more graphic that way. And you can see I can spend hours feathering this to get it to where I like it. But after you get it where you like it, you're going to go back up to your original layer where your figure is, and you're going to duplicate that layer. And now hit OK. You're going to choose the layer that's underneath. Make sure you choose the layer that's underneath. And you're going to go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. And it's going to pop this up. Now what you're going to do is you can change the direction of the blur. So wherever you want it, I think I want it to kind of be straight across. And you can actually change the tolerance right there. So however much blur you want it to do, and then hit OK. Now what you're going to do is use the Move tool and slightly move it to the right or left depending on where your circle is. And what it does, it looks like he's flying through the air. Now I'm going to turn down the opacity on this because I don't want it to be really strong. So I'm going to go to the layer box and just turn down the opacity just a touch so you can see just a blur of it. And now you're pretty much done. All you need to do now is add your signature. So you're going to either bring in your digital signature, or you just type one in. I don't care at this point. You do whatever you want. I'm going to make my type white so I can see it. Choose a cool font, and then just maybe put in my initials. Usually I try to put the date, the year, but you don't have to do that. Once you get it to where you like it, you can even, mess around with blending options, which is, you right click on that layer and go to blending options and, maybe do a color overlay or something. I don't know. It pulls up this. You don't have to. It's totally up to you. I might do, let's see, what will I do? Maybe a little bevel and emboss, or drop shadow, or outer glow. Maybe whatever. Maybe turn down the fill or the opacity so it's not so strong on the picture. And then go to File, Save As. You want to save it as a JPEG. And save it as, I don't know, RASP, or just your name, Radial Stretch Project. That's why I did RASP, and then your name. Hit save, hit OK, and then open up Google Classroom. Go to, add a create file, browse. This is obviously an older project, but pretend it's the RASP one, and then you just add it in, and you're done. Hopefully you like this project and you learned something. And just remember, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So have a great day, everybody.